Hello, welcome to the Self-Learning Platform by Dr. Sushma Singh. Today in Unit 1, what is political theory and why study it? We are going to start our lecture with the topic why study political theory. Political theory is no easy and simple enterprise. It is an elaborate and a consistent exercise aiming to achieve a better world of politics. Philosophy and science have no privileged cognitive status in political theory. All political philosophy makes claims about the operation of the political world, claims which require detailed examinations within the model of inquiry, which go beyond those available to philosophy alone. All political science raises normative questions which a dedication to the normative explanatory does not eliminate. Political theory requires the philosophical analysis of concepts and principles and the empirical understanding of political processes and structures. Neither philosophy nor science in their individual capacity can easily replace the other in the projection of political theory. This is so because the systematic political knowledge embodying generalizations about pattern of political life is possible, and the efforts to achieve it are rather should be the major tasks of political theory. Political theory is more than a discipline. It is an intellectual exercise as also an activity. It is needed as a philosophy just as it is needed as a science. Germino very aptly writes, turning his back to distortions, oversimplifications, sloganeering, and demographic gestures. The political theorist speaks out with honesty on the perpetual problems confronting man and his existence in the society. Political theory as a philosophy will always attempt to find out the truth in every situation, and as a science will always reach the truth. Leibniz holds the view that the political theory is not fantasy or the parading of prejudices, nor an intellectual game. Still less it is a linguistic analysis, but is an elaborate, rigorous, difficult, and useful understanding, and as much needed as any of science. Now let us move to the next point, tasks before political theory. There are definitive tasks before political theory. As a science, it has, as David Halder explains, the following functions: to identify the significant political variables and describe their mutual relations, to ensure this an analytic scheme is essential. This would render research meaningful and arrange facts leading to generalization. The existence and wide acceptance of all consensus by workers in the field on a theoretical framework would enable the results of the various researches to be compared. It would help in the verification of conclusions drawn up by the earlier researchers and may also reveal the areas of research which require empirical work. Finally, the existence of a theoretical framework or at least a relatively consistent body of concepts making research more reliable. As a philosophy, political theory has to go beyond science. It has to study as a science a phenomena, but as a philosophy, it has to understand the phenomena. It has to study a part together with the whole. Its study is not confined to knowing clearly the present, but it has to extend its area to know as for what the present exists. Accordingly, political theory has to rise above the study of status quo. It has to go beyond the present, deep into the realms of future. The tasks before political theory are enormous and differential. Some of these are: with Rawls, political theory as a branch of moral philosophy has been described essentially normative. Accordingly, the task of political theory is not only to develop general principles for evaluating the social structure, but also to design appropriate institutions, procedures, and policies. Political theory is primarily contemplative and a reflective inquiry concerned to understand the human existence in general. To understood political theory is neither a branch of moral philosophy nor normative in its alienation. Political theory is primarily concerned with articulating the self-understanding of a particular community, and that it is necessarily municipal in its scope and interpretive in its orientation. Political theory needs to be tentative, exploratory, conversational, open minded, ironic, and sensitive. Now let us move to the next point: significance of political theory. The significance of political theory has been under a cloud by scholars, mostly of the behaviorist school. John Plames, in his essay entitled The Ease of Political Theory, does not agree. As he puts it, political philosophy is dead. I have heard men say killed by the logical positivists and their successors, who have shown that many of the problems which exercises the great political thinkers of the past were spurious, resting in the confusions of the site and the misuse of the language. According to him, political theory has its uses, which may be stated as under: political theory is a serious and difficult intellectual activity, and the need for this kind of exercise in modern time is indeed much greater. It is a study of value, norms, and goals, though it does not produce the same kind of knowledge as empirical political theory does. It is a study of theories which have historically powerfully influenced man's images of the themselves and of society and profoundly determined their social and political behavior. It has an element of socially conditioned ideology. This ideology may be an illusion, and yet, unless man had these illusions, the course of social development would not have been what it is, and it produces a coherent system of political principles which can guide us to an appropriate political action. Its political theorists, as Plummer says, do not like honest shopkeepers, display a large variety of goods, describing them all accurately and leaving it to the customer to choose what pleases him most. They produce a hierarchy of principles and try to explain how man should use them to make their choices. They are not merely purveyors of ideas, they are the preachers and the pedagogists. C. Wright Mill writes political philosophies are intellectual and moral creations. They contain high ideas, easy slogans, dubious facts, crude propaganda, and sophisticated theories. He describes the significance of political theory, saying, firstly, it is itself a social reality. It is an ideology in terms of which certain institutions and practices are justified and other attacked. It provides the phrases in which demands are raised, criticisms made, exhortations delivered, proclamations formulated, and at times policies determined. Second, it is an ethic, an articulation of ideal which at various levels of generality and sophistication is used in judging man, events and movements, and as goals and guidelines for aspirations and policies. Third, it is designed agencies of action, of the means of reform, revolution, and conservation. It contains strategies and programs that embody both ends and means. It designates a short the historical levels by which ideals are to be won or maintained after they have been won. Fourth, it contains theories of man, society, and history, or at least assumptions about how society is made up of and how it works. It tells us how to find out where we stand and where we might be going. Political theory aims at comprehending the world in which it comes into being. It tries to identify its silent character, to understand its crisis, and it assesses its capacity to resolve that crisis. Political theory contributes to the capacity of man to understand himself and after himself, his polity and his history. It exhorts man to take command of his own common affairs. In short, it explains, illuminates, understands, evaluates, enlightens, and alters. By way of conclusion, one may say that the political theory bind, builds a model of highest political order, serves as a guide to the systematic collection and provides an analysis of political data. As a science, political theory describes political reality without trying to pass judgment on what is being depicted. As a philosophy, it describes rules of conduct which help secure good life for all. Now let us sum up the unit. Political theory is a theory that is related to what is political, the philosophy and science of something that is political. Sabine defines political theory broadly as anything about politics or relevant to politics. A more comprehensive definition of political theory has been given by Luhmann. He says political theory is an explanation of what politics is all about, general understanding of the political world, a frame of reference. Without one, we should not be able to recognize an event as political, decide anything about why it happened, judge whether it was good or bad, or decide what was likely to happen next. Political theory is the history insofar as it based on facts. It is philosophy insofar as it evaluates phenomena. It is science insofar as it explains things scientifically. Political theory has grown from its normative past to its scientific present. It looks forward to being a synthesis of history, philosophy, and science, and of normativism and imperialism. Political theory is not merely an illusion, it is not dead. Its relevance lies in its being practical activity. It not only gives us a theory of man, society, or history, but also gives us a theory of action, reform, revolution, or conservation. Here we want to wind up today's lecture and we have come to the end of the unit. Thank you so much for your attention.